House Republicans about to give the Biden family a financial colonoscopy.
Ouch.
I know. Congressman Comer says he's ready to send subpoenas directly to Hunter Biden and the president's brother, James. Those could arrive as soon as this week. We're guessing they'll probably want to ask about the series of shady financial transactions uncovered after looking at the Biden's bank records, including this $200,000 check that James wrote Joe and this $40,000 check, which many say is the commander-in-chief getting his 10% cut of his family's foreign income. The White House brushing those off as just loan repayments, but so far has refused to release evidence that backs that up. Comer says that's just the tax trick that they use.
We can connect the dots because as you showed on the screen with this series of transactions, that's called money laundering. And this was a very organized criminal enterprise by the Biden family. And the reason they did these complicated transactions was to disguise the source of the revenue and to deceive the IRS from paying taxes. So what you're going to see in the coming weeks is a lot of loans. Anytime the Bidens have money, they're going to claim it was a loan because you don't have to report loans on your taxes.
That comes as the prosecutor who tried to give Hunter Biden that sweetheart plea deal testifies before Congress. David Weiss claiming that politics played no part in the Hunter probe. Harold, you claim to be a lawyer. I'm still not sure who Trump defrauded and what went on there, but this is absolutely so clear-cut. Disguising the source, avoiding paying taxes through these interest-free loans. Come on, Harold. This is like so easy, and yet the media can't grasp it, but you can.
It doesn't seem like anybody. So that's a theory that Mr. Comer has, and if he can back that up with evidence, then perhaps the Justice Department or others will pursue a case. If he has, I can't even pronounce after what we talked about here in the
subpoena.
Judge,
what's a subpoena?
It's under you know what.
So if these things are to be believed, that there are 20 or 30 of them, they're going to call the family before. We'll get an opportunity to see. But I do think I don't leap to conclusions because people write checks to one another. I don't leap to conclusions because someone says that it's a loan repayment. Look, we had a conversation at the break about the law and about what happens when someone is charged with an assault or a manslaughter or homicide. The same is true with these kind of instances. If there's evidence to back this up, then Mr. Comer has something. But if there's no evidence, this is a theory of the case that he has, and we'll have to wait to see if it can be proved.
So he's guilty. Thank you, Harold. Judge, this loan thing and the fact that they're interest-free, this is like a common tax cheat, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty common in my experience, in addition to the whole Biden family. Look, there's nothing more important than putting to rest a claim, one way or the other, that the president of the United States is corrupt and is at the head of an organized criminal enterprise. One of the issues there is, okay, let's assume it's repayment of a loan. Let me see the loan. Let me see the agreement. What is the schedule of payments? And, if it wasn't a loan, then Joe Biden is still in a pickle. Because if it wasn't a loan, he didn't pay taxes on $240,000. And by the way, the $40,000 is 10% of $400,000 that Hunter got from an LLC in 2017, the same year that the WhatsApp, he said, my father and I are waiting here, we want our $5 million. So, but David Weiss, he said he wasn't impeded in his investigation at all, okay? I don't believe that for 1 second. Why did he ask to be special counsel? Why did it take him 5 years to ask to be special counsel? And why did it take him 5 years to come up with a plea deal that was so embarrassing that no one in the Justice Department had ever offered it before? When I heard today that the Baltimore police commissioner got jail time for less tax evasion than Hunter Biden did. So, David Weiss is not an innocent player here. This is money laundering. And either Joe made a loan to the family and they paid him back through Chinese funds connected to the Chinese. Come on.
Can I ask you a question? What would be, I don't necessarily, I'm not going to do business with China, but what would be wrong with that? What's
Because
legally wrong?
If it's a Chinese-connected, Communist Party-connected fuel company where the heads of the government are on the board, then that's illegal.
No. Tell me what's illegal. I wouldn't do that. But I don't know what's illegal about that. He was not in office. If you're saying if he did give the family a loan and they paid him back through this money, we're going to make some assumptions.
Right.
I don't know what's illegal about that.
Because they are promising something in return for that money. What did they give them in return for that? You know contract law.
I got it. So you're saying that maybe they said we're going to give you help in the government.
Maybe.
I'm just trying to figure out. I'm just trying to figure out what's
as
illegal.
a constitutional legal expert, I believe it's called quid pro quo. Which a phrase I just coined.
It's quid pro Joe.
But Joe wasn't in office. All I'm saying, I hear everything everybody say. He was not in office. So I get it. I just want to get the law down
Well,
here.
here it is, Harold. I mean, they were paying him for what he did when he was in office.
Oh, so
This came in right after he was in 8 years of the White House, Harold.
2017.
And he took action as vice president, and then he took action favorable to China when he was president.
Yeah, so this
it
is
doesn't
fair.
take a genius to figure it out, Harold. If I can figure it out, you can figure it out. Here's the thing. Biden says he's a big believer in fate, right? Well, I'm a big believer in karma. And if you lie and take bribes and hide it for all these years, it's going to come back to bite you. And this is coming back to bite him right now. His base, Biden's, is leaving at the same time Comer is closing in. Joe Biden is totally exposed here. You need a strong, solid, big base to defend some of these investigations. Joe doesn't have that. And now I know, because I know the media better than the media knows itself, when that 40,000, 10% for the big guy came in, and all I heard was crickets from the press, that tells me they know it's bad, and they're not even going to attempt to try to hide it.
On that note, which in a rare form, Jesse, makes sense, that it is incredible that the media, this is basically being spoon-fed to the media. This is something you can follow and you could make a great story, but they won't.
They won't. And the president's staff and the campaign staff and the lawyers, their job is to make you think this is very complicated. Their job is to make you believe that there is reasonable doubt in the court of public opinion. But I can even do 10% math. Right? So they get the $400,000 payment. It goes into a checking account that has no money in it. And then all of a sudden later that day, they get a 40% check. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. 10% for the big guy. It's like, it's
See, Harold,
I'm like,
women can do math. I like what you said in the break.
Yeah, and in the green room, too. The other thing is...
I did not say that.
Part of the quid pro quo was the access.
Yeah.
It's just access. And it's just that's why, for example, you have powerful people on retainer for the just-in-case scenario that you might need them at some point. It doesn't necessarily mean that you do something specific. It means I have you on retainer in case I get arrested and I need you to bail me out. Right, Judge?
Absolutely, because you know you're going to get in trouble one way or the other.
We should have a board. The five should have their own board of people on law enforcement just in case.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Hey.
Yeah.
And also call Hannity.
Yes. Why?
Why?
What
Because he'll always help you out.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
Like if you get, no, I always say, if I were to get arrested walking home tonight,
you call Hannity?
I would call you and I'd call Hannity. And then I'd call Peter.
I'm way down that list.
Yeah.
Well, I might call you to see if you'd take care of Percy.
I'd ride Percy is what I do. All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.